Hello everyone, it's me, MrSneakyy, and I'm finally covering the Q&A from the Call of Dragons devs. There's a lot to cover in here, so stay tuned for my thoughts and the full devs' thoughts on the Q&A. Hello everyone, so yes, we're going over the Call of Dragons developers Q&A. It was posted on Discord. Obviously, we've had a load of different YouTubers' thoughts. Obviously, I've been occupied with trying to give you guys, obviously, other content which you more need of, the guides and so on. So let's go into a deep dive in the Call of Dragons, Q&A. So if you enjoy my content, smash like, comment, and subscribe. With all that said, let's get into things. So the question in the first one is, what sort of gameplay will the new season bring? And will we have to explore the mist again? Because obviously everyone doesn't like exploring the mist. So we are currently going all in preparations for the new season entitled Stars Reignited. We are more than happy to share some of the upcoming changes with you. This includes a brand new village occupation feature, changes to the pass system, and adding a 6-star to hero star ratings and a higher level resource points and behemoths and more. We think this new season will enhance your strategic experience due to time constraints. The new season has reduced the number of outlying regions on the map of Tamaris. We believe this change to the map layout will bring a new dimension to alliance strategies, and for this next season there won't be any need to explore the mist again, which is really good. Camps and supplies will be reset, available for you to claim once more. And on top of this, we'll be also working on an all new season with a new map and new storyline, and this new season should come online in Q3 of this year. So that's the third quarter, if you're wondering. So that's basically in, because we're in Q2 now, so maybe like the beginning of Q2, so you've got another 4 months. So it's basically not winter time, but it's, when it's coming to like Halloween, or just before Halloween, should I say, like September, October, just before around them time. So and that's going to be Q3 when they're hoping to release that new map, which is really good. But we do need to unpack this because it has a lot involved in it. So you can see they're already changing the new map. Well, they're changing the maps. In the new season on Stars Reignited, you're going to be on Tamaris again. However, as they stated here, due to time constraints, they've reduced the number of outlying regions on the map of Tamaris. So they're basically, I think, shortening, instead of having all the, outer ring, there's going to be a smaller amount of choices on the outer ring. So it should speed up, they believe, the gameplay then in the next season of Stars Reignited. So that's going to be interesting to see what this map change is going to look like, because obviously it's different to what we've already had. Even though they've said here they might be still doing some behemoths, then even though they're adding some new ones as well to the season, which might be really interesting to see. The one thing as well, which I was expecting eventually, was 6-star in heroes. This might be a very frowned upon thing for free-to-play players, because you got to remember, obviously free-to-play players don't get access to everything as soon as obviously the spenders. But you guys need to remember, this game is not made for the short term. I know you guys really want to get 6-star heroes as fast as possible and like do what all the YouTubers do and stuff, but this game is made for a long-term, process. It's a marathon. It's never a sprint. So you will 6-star, and I can imagine you can still 6-star 2 legendaries really quickly in your roster that you need to play as, right? And then you'll be working on the next set of stars to unlock your next set of heroes. So I think it might be a healthy system once obviously the game gets into a better position with events, because obviously there's not enough events in the game to support this, but we already know from them already discussing it in prior discussions that they are adding more and more events. So don't you worry. I'm hoping this is going to be a fine fix, but the 6-star thing is going to be, at the moment for me, still a 50-50 thought. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this until we see some better events to supplement the extra stars needed for that. But in the whole, I do really like this point. I like the fact that they even tell you that you don't have to do the mists. they've also said to you, you can also, you know, get all the rewards again. And these are what I've already told you guys, right? So this is just confirming to you everything I've already told you once before, which was when the season does reset and you go into the next season, you are able to reclaim all the other types of, you know, claims. So these are all the camps and supplies again, so you'll be able to get everything like that. So that's why you don't need a jumper, because you're basically getting the same roads as a jumper but every single season, right? So it's a really cool thing that they've cleared up everywhere in this one big point, which is really good. So let's move on to the next one, which is why are some aspects of gameplay being reset in the new season. So our original intention was to reduce the disparity between players, to increase fairness, encourage interaction between alliances, and avoid a scenario where the strongest players continue to get stronger as players explore, fight, and grow. Disparities between players begin to form due to the fact that some players are able to spend more time playing than others. This leads to the winners takes all situation, making the game less fun for weaker players and alliances. We also hope to give players the opportunity to try out multiple strategies. Resets are an important part of our approach. Of course, it is also true that resets can be a temporary setback for some players, as they have to get used to new alliances and new seasonal gameplay, and a summary of which gameplay aspects will be reset is available in the season overview of the org stone. We recommend making preparations before the season ends. So the thing is with this is a really good summary again, and they actually have the same point as me. I actually think seasonal resets are a really good thing in the game. And the thing is, when you're a free-to-play player and you've never experienced one, obviously it's gonna be daunting, it's gonna be scary. Everyone's obviously a bit shaky about it, but you need to understand all the spenders in that first season that might have got ahead of you all that time, or even if they've been trying to hoard certain things like those medical supplies or the CP items, everything like that, anything they've tried to hoard, when that season reset happens, everyone, if you're a free-to-play, whale, low spender, no matter where you are all resetted to the same starting point. So again, if you're able to put more time into it, those spenders do need to spend money to obviously maintain the same hero levels as you, because they might have not have put as much time in, for example. Yeah, obviously some people might argue that they'll still have stronger commanders, but that is just something over time, which I've already explained. As a free-to-play player, you should understand in the early game that is true, but in the mid and end game, when you do start to have your heroes leveled up, you are almost on a, not a level 50, 1-to-1 ratio with them, but you are a lot closer than you think when you come to open field combat. So I really do like the reset. The reset does, like I say, put everyone on a fair open field, and it also, which is a really good thing, which they tell you even in here, is say you make a mistake, right? You might have made a mistake in your talent choices, or you might have not liked maybe the units you've picked, right? So maybe season 1 you played as infantry and you made a big boo-boo, but in season 2 when you reset, you might have already had some commanders through the gold keys that you've unlocked that are at 5-1-1-1 state, or even like a Gwanwyn and Craig that's like 5-5-1-1 that you could be using, and that can be your starting heroes for the next season. So you can learn something from your past season and obviously adapt it into the next. So I really do like seasonal resets, and it is a really good core mechanic that I do like them to have. So let's go on to the next point, which is, will there be more opportunities to gain command points? So they totally understand the need for a large amount of CP to gain hero XP and level up their heroes. However, increasing the availability of CP would put further pressure on players and could lead to greater disparities. So basically what they're saying is they would give you guys more CP, but they're scared that if they give more options to get CP, the players that don't get, the time in the game, and they don't maybe complete the events to get them CP items, is going to create a bigger gap between players. And they want to try and keep the levels of heroes as close as they can within, a certain reach of each other. So that's their That's my understanding on their point, and it can make sense in some points, but obviously we would, and even I would say I would like a little bit more, not even like a large amount, but I'm just asking like just a tiny bit more extra CP in the game, and it would probably supplement the free-to-play player experience, but there's a lot more in this point that we need to talk about that will impact that decision. So they say, however, increasing the availability of CP, like I say, would put further increase on the disparity between players. For this reason, we are approaching the issue with a caution. So this is like their temporary fix that they're going to trial and see how it works. But I've already discussed this point with the Call of Dragons dev, and they state that at the same time we are planning on changing the hero XP that can be earned next season. After a hero reaches level 50, the hero will no longer be able to gain XP through peacekeeping battles, which will cost CP. Instead, they will gain XP through methods that will cost stamina. We will keep your close eyes on the feedback regarding this change. So this, I know already, is something that everyone in the community is disliking, and I am with you guys here. I do not like this change at all. The reason is, again, if you read it, it is black and white. Once a hero hits level 50, in order to get to that level 60 stage, your hero must be participating into PvP combat situations. And obviously some areas or some, cities or some servers might have massive disparities where you cannot fight against those players because you will kill your troops, right? So this is not, in my opinion, a good change. Again, this is basically limiting the player's choice on how they should be able to level heroes. And the fact that at the moment they're able to level heroes through peacekeeping, gathering, and PvP is a really good thing that they should keep throughout the game. And as I added in my point to the devs that I hope are watching the videos, I did suggest that they add potentially a new mechanic in the game, because we obviously get XP for gathering, we get XP for PvP, and we get XP for killing patrols, but your engineers do not get any experience for helping building roads, any alliance building, destroying buildings, or anything in that regard. So they could have added another mechanic in the game which actually helped players level up heroes, which honestly would help the free-to-play players a lot more to keep up with the spenders that are obviously having more CP through their different bundles that they can buy and so forth. So as you can see, my point is this is a really bad issue. I hope that the devs team are listening and they retract this, because this is a really bad point. They should not implement this in the game, because this is going to push a lot of players away, because again, you're limiting the fact that now I can only get level 50 heroes until I start then going to combat and then getting him to level 60, which I think is unfair, because again, you might need that level 55-60 hero to complete certain raids for those talent points that you need, right? So I do not like this change. It is very bad in my opinion. So that is the command point section and the leveling of heroes all covered in one go, what they've done. So now we're going into the next one. I want to make sure that my alliance members are active. Will you make it possible to view the amount of time a player has spent offline and the last time they are logged in? We are fully understand, and this is the reply. We fully understand that alliance leaders would like to be able to judge their members' activity by looking at their offline time and the time of their last login, and use activity as a metric for members in order to improve the alliance overall development. However, players across the globe have differing playing habits, and protecting our players' personal data is extremely important to us. In order to prevent overly harsh styles alliance management, we have no plans to make this kind of information fully available. So basically what they're saying is, and I kind of understand what they're coming from and I kind of agree with it, but obviously every single person does have a life, right? You have a life outside the game. You shouldn't always be spending your time in game. So obviously some players might have a day or two off from the game for personal reasons. There's something might be going on in real life, so that's why they might have not logged in. And this is why they're hiding this data, because again, certain alliances in certain servers might see 1 or 2 days of inactivity and kick you because they need that 24-hour almost uptime to keep their alliance development, you know, on track. So it's a really good way of protecting members, but again, obviously some alliance leaders might not like this, but for the overall general purpose for the player base, I actually really like this. It is, again, it's more thoughtful for you guys, because again, it allows you to have a real life as well as play the game. So just remember what they're trying to protect here when they stay in this point. We will be introducing, though, leaderboards that display daily challenges in players' power and weekly merit totals. We will hope this will help alliance leaders to better judge members' activity and contributions, while avoiding situations where players are judged to be inactive due to differences in global player habits. So this is the way they're going to try again and address this. So they're going to try and say, again, if your alliance is in a multi-international alliance, right, you might have players that might be offline for 12 hours because they might be sleeping, right? And that might be just their sleep schedule. And when you're checking their, you know, time, that's not obviously a good representation. But if you're able to see if that player is online and completing all of his daily tasks and weekly tasks, then you can see he's actually playing the game and actively increasing his power, which is really good. So it's a way, I believe they're addressing some form for the alliance leaders, which is a really good thing. So they're helping the players and they're trying to help the alliance leaders. So I would like your guys' feedback on this point. This would be a really good comment section on what your guys' opinions and thoughts on it would be. So let's move on to the next one. The next question was, I'm concerned that our server will become inactive if no new players are able to join. Will Call of Dragons introduce a migration feature? But as you guys know, they have introduced a migration feature, and I'll cover it right now. Obviously, they answer it here, which you can read on screen. But I have got 2 videos out of this when this video comes out on migration. One explaining how the whole migration system works, and the second showcasing me migrating an account from a server to a second server, right? So the way the migration system works now in this game is, again, if you are worried that you're in an inactive server, right, and your server is slowly dying, when you do get matched into a season, you will merge your home kingdom server against those other 3 servers, right? So in that time, you might make allies or make friends or join another alliance in another server. So by doing that, obviously you're going to play with them and enjoy the experience and play through the season with a new, new friends and a new member list. So by the end of the season, if you are in the mentality of migrating, what you should be doing, even as a free-to-play player, is always at the start of the season save 5,000 gems. Because by saving 5,000 gems, any gems you have over 5,000, then you can spend on the wheels and stuff that you're going to be spending on. But it costs you 5,000 gems to migrate from your server into this server you've just, basically joined or fought with in there. So you could be in server 23, for example, and say that was a really dead server. I don't know if it is. But say you got matched with a server like, say, 32, and if they had the population cap not maxed out and you was able to, you could join from 23 into 32, and then in the next season, so season 3, you would then play alongside them and be in their home kingdom. So that is how migration works, and the migration system is going to be implemented, as you can see, in version 1.015 of the game. So I hope you guys do like that. I do actually really like the migration system. I do talk about it, like I said, in a guide. So if you want to check it out, go and check out the channel. I'll try and add a thumbnail somewhere in this section for you guys to click on, and it'll be just the migration video on it, not the actual migrating an account, but the migrational video when they added the feature. So if you've enjoyed the video so far, we've got a long way to go so far, and it's been a really good one. It's been a roller coaster of a journey. Smash like, comment, and subscribe, guys. It is an amazing journey. We're almost at 2,000 subs, which is amazing, and we're closing down, honestly, to a really big announcement on the channel for you big fans out there that have been following the channel from the start all the way to now. So let's go into the next point, which is, will you be adding a way to reduce the amount of time needed for free healing? So they answer this is their reply now. Free healing is a major aspect of Call of Duty, and we pay carefully attention to feedback having regarding to the system. Furthermore, we fully understand that players having the most trouble with the system, those who need access to large number of units within a specific time frame, e.g. players taking part of large-scale battles. Long waits for free healing can lead to players being unable to participate in combat, which is fair enough. In response to this, we will be replacing free healing with elixir healing. The new elixir item can be used to instantly heal items, and elixir can be attained for free, but it cannot be purchased or traded for. Elixir is produced by the stored in your hospital over time, and your elixir production speed is determined by your hospital level and relevant policies you may have enact. Ooh, I really actually like this. Let's carry on. But don't worry, it's essential equivalent to your full heal speed. Yes, this is, yeah, it really is. So, right, okay, I understand this. I don't know if you guys do. This is really, that's really clever. Sorry, I'm actually really outstanding by how they've approached this. So, free healing is a really cool mechanic in the game. Everyone do like it if you're free to play, a low spender, or a whale. Because again, even if you're spending big resource healing amounts, you can still rely on that 500k plus, you know, free healing over the next couple of days to get your troops back while you're waiting on your resource healing per day, right? So it is a really good way of implementing it in the game. But obviously, if you're in a large-scale battle, you can't be waiting days and days and days to get that free healing. And obviously, in the game at the moment, you can get merits, and when you spend those merits, you get those free healing bundles to basically speed up the free healing, and you get a bunch of free healing done at that obviously cost. And as you can see, as the meta has obviously developed through PvP, we've always been buying those medical supplies. So what they've basically done is, when you're, you know, passively playing the game, your hospital is going to be gaining this elixir, which is the free healing medical supply item almost all the time, and it's going to max out and fully, you know, have it there, so you can still at an instant notice free heal up to 500,000 troops potentially, depending on policies and stuff in the future. But you still have access to the resource healing, so you have the best of both worlds. You can technically instantly heal a bunch of troops straight away, and you can use your free healing first before dipping into your resource healing to continue fighting those large scale fights in maybe a short-term period, right? So I really do like this current change that they're going to put in the game. So this way players preparing for battle can store elixir ahead of time, which is what I've just said, which is really good. Allow them to heal large numbers of units at once when needed and get into combat as quickly as possible. Really good way for them to summarize my point with their own little blurb there. This change will not affect the existing resource healing system. The elixir system will be introduced to the game in the next update. More information will be available soon, and when that does come available, guys, I will obviously do a video on it. I cannot wait to see that, though. That is a really important change that's going to be amazing in the game for all those guys that are looking to fight. Currently, the last question on the Q&A was, you can only create one character per server, so it's not possible to create a new character on the same server. Will you add the ability to delete characters? Thank you for bringing this into our attention. We are currently discussing the best way to handle this issue. Please keep an eye on the future update announcements for more information. So one thing we do know in regards to this is in the migration area. So again, if you go back and check out my migration video, I'll give you a quick summary now. In there, they did state that you can migrate multiple characters into the same server. So obviously, if your two characters are able to, you can migrate them into one, and then obviously they are going to be playing together then. So that's one way they're going to address it, I think, in the future. And they're going to possibly, obviously, add more features. So we're going to have to stay in tune for that. But I think that might be one of the current ways they've addressed adding multiple characters into one server. Because obviously, at the moment, it says you can't. So that is, guys, the full final Call of Dragons developer Q&A. As you can see, it was done on the 12th. I've recorded it today. It was a couple of days later, but obviously you've heard all of the YouTubers and now you've heard my thoughts on everything. So I'd love to hear your opinions as well. This is obviously just all discussion based and what I felt when I've been playing the game and what I believe is good and what's bad through here. So if you enjoyed the video, smash a like, comment and subscribe like always. But until the next video, peace out and stay safe, stay sneaky.